All right, everybody. It's an honor here to be on the radio and doing this interview with someone who's been such a staple in the music industry for so long. Mr. Kevin Kinney from the band Driving and Crying. He's down there in Georgia. How are you? How are everything going down there, man?
Well, it is going well, and I hope it continues much. But they're opening up a lot of things tomorrow, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
staying inside.
Have
I'm
Have you been out? Have you done anything?
I golf every Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. I got a nice little public course here that's got it's actually the perfect virus sport because you have all your own equipment. You never.
Right, right,
I'm not a handshaker hugger anyway,
right.
and I just play with my brother who's been quarantined. So yeah, we walk. Just walk. Walk 9 holes or drive 18 or whatever. But that's been my biggest activity. And then once every 10 days or so, we go to the farmers market or something like that and try
Sure.
to get a bunch of stuff, and fill up the freezer and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But that's pretty much.
Have you always been a
So I
golfer?
do walk the dogs every day. Yeah.
Have you always been a
What's that?
golfer?
I'm a terrible golfer, but yes, I've been terribly golfing my entire life.
Ter- Terribly golfing.
I don't keep score. What I do is I have a system where I get 1 point for bogey, I get 3 points for par, and I get 5 points for birdie.
There you go.
So at the end of the day, I just kind of calculate up my points. If I can make 20 points, that's pretty good. That's my goal to get at least 20 points, which is pretty good. That's like a couple of pars and some bogeys.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I try not to put pressure on myself to be a professional golfer.
Sure.
Um, I got the songwriting thing, the guitar playing thing. I don't think God needed me to be a golfer too.
Well, as
So
long
I'm
as you
good.
enjoy it,
Whatever.
I've always been told as
The
long as you
gifts I've
enjoy it.
gotten are yes, yes. I do enjoy it.
Well, hey, man, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your career, and about the music you've written, and just real quick, I want to talk about the new album. I love the new album, and I think it's something that people should really go out of their way to pick up and to listen to. But before we get there, I'd like to just briefly go over the beginnings and how things started out. I guess starting back in '86, you were on 688 Records. Is that right? The You recorded
Yeah,
"Scarred but Smarter."
yes. It was a very quick record we made. From the it was a we were one of the popular draws at a local club called the 688 Club, and then they branched out and were like, we're going to start our own record label, and we'd like to pay for your first record. So anytime someone offers to buy you your first record, you kind of very few strings attached. It was like a one record deal, and so yeah, we went into the studio and made it pretty quickly, and it became uh, I guess it was our threshold into you know it wasn't the perfect scenario. Like we could have waited a year and tried to get a record deal and all this stuff and audition, but I think it's important for people to put down their art as it is.
Sure.
You can always redo it or do whatever you want, but it's kind of important to catch catch it while it's happening. I think that's at least for me.
Oh,
There's a lot. Obviously there's a lot of great artists out there who spend years making beautiful albums, but that's not me. I get bored pretty quickly, so that's
what
not my scene.
did you discover your voice first, or your love for guitar?
Well, I hate my voice. you know, I think it's terrible. I've been cataloging all my songs that I like. Put it to a little songbook or something that I've been using this time to type and been listening to all of my songs and I have to listen to a couple lines and then write them down and I'm like, oh my god. So there's but I my voice kind of has a strange strain to it. like saxophone or something. I don't really
Yeah,
know what it is.
I see that.
But
Yeah.
back I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and it was really kind of something I invented because when I was trying to do nightclubs in the early days in the '80s and stuff, just trying to find a frequency that I could hear in the monitors over the band was kind of what I was trying to do. If I sang, I think that if I would start today with the way sound technology is and I can hear, my natural voice is pretty low. Like if I'm working on some songs right now where it's like I'm catching up the milestone, I'm counting all the days.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
I kind of came up with the rock and roll. You know, Ozzy. I think Ozzy was my influence. I love Ozzy.
And I
He's
noticed
like my
some
favorite
of
rock
the
singer.
I noticed some of the lower your lower voice on the new album that we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'm starting to explore that a little bit more now
yeah,
that I'm
and
getting older anyway. So
but yeah, it wasn't that long after your first album that Island Records picked you up, and at that point, Whisper Tames the Lion, man, great album. Um,
yeah,
I,
you like that one?
I do, that first
All right, good.
song, Can't Promise You the World. Um, that
Yeah.
for me, that was it reminded me of REM, which we'll talk about your relationship with those guys, but the college rock scene, that song stuck with me for years and years.
Well, thank you. That's my favorite song on that record. That's my favorite one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that was our little pop, our pop hit we were heavily influenced by REM. Obviously, I was building sewage plants in the early '80s and going to work, and I just had my little cassette player on my front seat of my 1964 Belvedere, and driving in the dark on my way to work every day, and the REM's Reckoning record was, I think, my favorite record at that time. I was like, wow, these guys are great. I mean, I never met them, or I didn't really know anything about them, but
right.
yeah,
Well, they were a few years before you guys, and you guys would hook up later on.
yeah.
But yeah, I really heard actually the Reckoning record in a lot of the stuff on Whisper Tames the Line. I thought.
Oh, sure, yeah. But that was, interesting story about that is that we recorded that record, and Peter Buck was one of our biggest supporters in the early days. He loved Scarlet Smarter, and so we made Whisper Tames the Lion. We spent the whole summer in New York City and made this record, and uh, we changed drummers in the meantime, and then Anton Fear played drums, and it was an interesting era. But
Yeah.
we were on tour, and we ran into REM, and they were on the cover of Rolling Stone, and they were in St. Louis, and they're playing St. Louis. We were playing somewhere nearby,
Right.
and so we called them and said, "Hey, can we come to your show?" They were like, "Absolutely." So we went to the show at the Fox Theater in St. Louis, and it was fantastic, of course.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was Life's Rich Pageant. I think was the thing. I'm not sure, but we played them. We played Peter and those guys the record in the bar afterwards, and Peter was so disappointed. He was like, "This is not you. This is not." I was like, "What?" He goes, "This is terrible."
Oh my gosh, no.
So it was crushed, but so that was crushing. But you know what? It was honest. He felt that way. Like they didn't capture our live. We were really a live band, and then
Right.
and that is what's true is there was no. That was a very constructed record,
Mm.
and like they missed getting our live energy or whatever it was. So, but the good news to that story is that Peter said, "Come to Athens. I'm going to produce your demos for your next record," and and so that was the Mystery Road
Oh yeah.
record. So he helped construct that record. He didn't produce it, but then he produced the next record, McDougal Blues. So
Right. Right.
if it wouldn't have been for what missed the mark a little bit on Whisper, we
Mm-hmm.
would have never gotten Whisper. We would have never got Mystery Road. We would have never got McDougal Blues, and that's sets up a whole. Probably would have never been on the Green tour.
Sure.
So it was So
Yeah, and you speak of Mystery Road, and the people have been preparing for the interview today, doing a lot of speaking to other people. A lot of people that I've talked to, Mystery Road is their favorite Driving and Crying record, and I tend to love that record as well. Um, I love the new one, of course, Fly Me, and they're all good, but
yeah,
Honeysuckle Blue, uh, great song, is Straight to Hell. Mystery Road, great album. What are your memories
yeah.
of the Green tour?
Well, it was our first major U.S. tour, but we were in a van, so we were like in our brown van, and I don't even know if we had a trailer. And I think we just put all the right gear in the van, and uh, we were just really honored to do it. It was it's you were doing these huge arenas. We did Boston Garden, and
Mm.
we did the Philadelphia Spectrum, and we did uh, we did Montreal or something. I think we did some pretty big arenas on the. We just did the East Coast tour. I don't. They had somebody else on the West Coast, but we did the East Coast tour for that. And it was a. I was really, looking back, um, it was a more of a as a fan. I just couldn't believe that A, I was in the building. B, that this band that I listened to was actually had become huge because they had Stand and they had Shiny Happy People and
Mhm.
all that stuff. It was before Everybody Hurts and all that stuff.
Right,
So it
right.
was but they had real films. They had I think Jim McKay, who's a famous director now. I think he helped put up their films together.
Right, right.
Like Jim McKay, I think he's like directed Sopranos and all sorts. I don't know what. I'm not sure what his IMDb is, but
Yeah, he's gone on to do
um,
quite a bit. Yeah.
and so it was just great watching I wrote a tribute song to REM, and it was like when they broke up. I just wrote a little thing on my GarageBand, and Travis wound up recording it. It's called REM. You can get it on iTunes. But it was like the clicking of projectors. It's like the lights would go off, and you would hear the projectors, and then you would see it like hello. It was like it was this really great
Mhm.
like now what Justin Timberlake and Madonna and all these Billie Eilish, all these people do with these huge video screens.
Right,
They actually just had a screen and a projector,
right.
and
Yeah.
it was so cool. And then they would come out and do like Feel Like Gravity Pull or whatever. It just was
Oh,
so
it's huge, man.
that was a great
And
yeah.
and then things explode for you guys in like 90 and 91 with Fly Me. You know, for people who don't know, Fly Me Courageous, in the heyday of the MTV era, this song
Yeah.
exploded, and you guys were everywhere. Opened up, with Neil Young, Skinner, Bad Company, Soul. I saw you at Soul Asylum. Actually,
Oh,
the
cool.
owner of the station and the guitar shop that I'm affiliated with, Guitar Wishes here in Lincolnton. The owner's wife saw you in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, back in the day, on a headlining tour. So
Uh,
you did so much stuff from Fly Me Courageous. I bet that's a whirlwind for you, that time period.
yeah, it was it was the getting on MTV really made a huge difference. That one song on MTV, the Fly Me Courageous song, which was, it was unexpected. I think we thought the Innocent was going to be the song or something like that. I'm
Hmm.
not sure what we were thinking, or but the Fly Me Courageous had um, the Gulf War was just starting, so they were flying these sorties, they were called, and we had a lot of we played the Air Force Academy and the Naval Academy, and we played a lot of runways, and
Yeah.
um, it was. I think that helped, bring it on the radio or something like that. But yeah, it's a cool song. It's a takeoff. The music is a takeoff of a song that Ray Charles did. Say What I Say. If you listen to What I Say and Fly Me Courageous, it's kind of my take on that musically.
Sure.
It's between that and then like Bad Company and Smoking in the Boys Room. Deep
Yeah.
stuff.
Well,
That's just
it
sounds good.
really seemed like your sound changed at that point too. You went, from the first couple albums, kind of a college rock thing. Mystery Road was a little different, I think, because of the production, and then Fly Me
Right.
was straight up, rock guitars. And although there was some of that on the previous albums, Fly Me was just a really huge
Yeah.
rock record.
Fly Me was produced by a guy called Jeff Workman, who was the engineer on Thin Lizzy, Queen. He did Ron Wood. He did Journey. So he was like the engineer, co-producer on some of that. He produced the Ron Wood one, I think. But he was John Lennon's best friend growing up. John Lennon would have dinner with Jeff's mom and stuff. 'Cause John's
That's
mom
crazy.
was-
Just imagine
Yeah, so
going to dinner and there's John Lennon.
right, and as you go up in life, he becomes a Beatle. But he wasn't but obviously he was just a kid. They grew up together.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of great stories about that. But he brought a discipline, a rock and roll discipline. He loved rock. He loved hard rock. I love regular. I love REO Speedway. I like everything. I like the Ramones and Patti Smith, but I also love. I love a good rock song.
Sure.
I love So he was really instrumental. We also Buren really kind of got into that. We started really the amount of touring that we were doing. The Whisper Tapes Alliance record was a rock record, and by the time we wrapped our 2 Marshall amps and Buren, we got Buren from REM. He was the side guitar player for them,
Right.
and we just embraced all the rock that was happening. But I think that there was a lot of hair metal bands at the time, so it was like people were kind of primed for it. So it was
Right.
kind of not really. It wasn't. I wasn't comfortable with it because I wasn't really. I'm not. I love. I respect everybody's music,
Sure.
but I'm not like, hey, let's be Poison, or hey, let's be Motley Crue, or hey,
Right.
let's be Rad, or I wasn't really into that.
Right.
Sometimes our photo shoots and our hair would be done in LA, and we wound up like getting into that. I'd be like, all right, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's all art to me.
Yeah.
But here's what happened. You let yourself go like that. You're kind of like, all right, that'll be fun. You can market us as rock. We don't care. Whatever. Anything. People will figure us out that we're, we have a lot of indie records out. We started off on an indie record. What happened then is all of a sudden Nirvana shows up and says, everybody that was on the hair band side of this, you're gone. So we were like, hum.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, wait. We were on that side of the fence. Last year we were on that side of it. Like, nope, not anymore. We're like, no. So, yeah, we were on the. So when the 99Xs and the when the Weezer and the alternative kind of, I don't know what it was called, Gen X radio or something came along.
Yeah.
We were not welcome.
Yeah. The whole grunge movement. And
it was the grunge kicked it off, and we were actually, but yeah, the thing was also, like it was grunge, but a lot of it wasn't grunge, like Weezer or whatever that is, whatever the pop, like Can't Promise You the World was definitely not a metal song, It
Right.
was kind of a fun pop song,
Sure.
And REM survived. And they did great, and but I think like Driving Crying, Soul Asylum, a couple of us were kind of categorized as not cool anymore, or not even being on the bubble anymore. So that was hard to go from being on, being welcome to radio stations and stuff when you tour and to help the shows, to being
Right.
like, yeah.
What's funny is I remember that time, and around 95 or 96, I started hearing rock on the radio again, a lot more than the Nirvanas and the Soundgardens. And I attribute a lot of that to Hootie and the Blowfish. Those
Yeah,
guys came out in 95, 96, and and at that
there.
point, things started to turn around, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. They were, man. I'll tell you what. I just toured with them in England, and Trevor Klein opened for them in England, and I those guys are an amazing band. They really are. I mean,
Yeah.
they in England they don't have the video screens, and like in England they're not like amphitheater huge. They were playing big venues, a couple thousand people, which is totally sold out.
Hmm.
3,000, 2,000, 3,000 people.
Sure.
But it was great to see them like in Scotland. We did 2 nights with them in Scotland, and it was like a 2,000 person rock and roll venue that had been there since the 80s or 70s even.
Hmm.
And they are just they're just when they just have their amps and their monitors and their band, they're just so fantastic. They're a real band.
Absolutely. They
Really
really
great.
are.
I was very people kind of smirk a little bit sometimes. I don't know where that comes from. You
I don't
know,
either. I don't
they're a
either.
real band. I
I,
think they're a real thing.
Absolutely, I agree totally. And I want to move on to the new album, the Live the Love Beautiful. If nobody out there anybody listening to this has not heard Live the Love Beautiful, it's an incredible album, and I think that the timing of some of the lyrics in it is just spot on. And you talked earlier about your love for all kinds of music, and it really reflects in here. The singer songwriters in there, incredible guitars are in there, acoustic guitars are in there. This really seems like a work of passion for you.
Definitely. It's got a lot of good. It's got a lot of good ideas. I had a young producer produce it. His name's Aaron Lee Tashin, and he's probably 20 years younger than me or more, maybe 30 years younger than me. I'm not sure, but um, I kind of was. I needed help to clarify who I was again, and to take and not be in control. So I just did some songwriting, and then I let them produce it. I was like, I'll say what you want me to say. I'll say what you want me to say.
Mm.
And I'll let you build this sonic landscape around me. So I just got had time to just think about the lyrics,
Sure.
and so the cover for "Live to Love Beautiful" too is quarantine. He's in a spacesuit,
Yeah,
so we were ahead of the curve on that
you
cover.
sure were. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the arc of the story is that what's wrong with being happy, step by step. It was addressing a lot of stuff that I'd been through. I'd seen my friends go through. I wanted to say some things, someday, and yeah, I have a lot of favorite songs on that record.
Oh yeah.
"Create Free" is one of my favorite songs.
Oh,
That was a statement
the guitar
about.
work. The guitar work at the end of that is unbelievable.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, I have one of the greatest guitar players in the world playing guitar with us. Lauer Jobetz is his name, and he he was on the Grammy Award winning record that Sturgill Simpson record, that first Sturgill Simpson record.
Oh wow.
So he was the guitar player on that. The guy did all the Waylon Jennings kind of sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's a great guy. He's from Estonia, and he's 30 years younger than me too. But
Wow.
I try not to even think about that, because I think you know musically he's more he knows more about the notes and the chord structure. He's like, that's a F diminished seventh minor there. I'm like, okay. I thought it was an F with I picked up my finger there, but okay. So, but yeah, it was a great adventure to do that, and put the songs together. And we you know, I used I had a lot of ideas. I saved them in my phone on my memo, on my sound, whatever, what's it called? Sound memos or
Yeah,
something?
the voice memos on your phone, sure.
Voice memos, yeah.
Yeah.
And, so whenever I have a good idea for a song or I'm doing a sound check, you know, I hit record. And so I've kept a lot of the melodies that a day later I cannot remember what it was, and I'll go back and listen to it. It's like, oh, I'm so glad I recorded that. I kind of took that all. We all went to Aaron's house and sat in the living room in Nashville, and I played some of these demos, these things. So we kind of, as a band, we just stood there with, you know, acoustic guitars and a bass and a, you know, maybe a cereal box, you know, for the drums. We're just kind of working out. Like, this one might be good. Let's work on this one, and this one, this could be good. Let's work on this. So
Awesome.
we kind of built it all together from there. So it was a really good memory for me.
Yeah.
How it was built. It was very organic, and I say I let because as the singer songwriter, usually I can guide projects more heavy handed than the other members. You know,
Sure.
I could be like, no, we're not ever doing that, or no, we're going to do that. This time I was like, I don't know, whatever you think. What do you think? You know, you just do what you do. You know, this is your record and my record, so
well,
you know,
I'll tell you what,
our record.
It truly is an incredible record, and I'm going to push everybody that I know and everybody that's going to listen to this and see this to go and pick this up. It's really, really good. Kevin, we've only got a couple of minutes here, but I really want to thank you for your time today. It's been an honor talking to you, and you know, next time you're in the Charlotte area, we'd love to send a car and bring you down to Guitar Wishes and let you check some things out. We've got some Mosrites in here. I know you're a Mosrite fan. And
what?
Yeah, we got a few Mosrites, and we would love to see you come in the store sometime.
Well,
at Guitar Wishes.
I'll be there.
That sounds great, brother. Hey, from everybody here at Guitar Wishes and the Sound Factory Studios in Lincoln, we want to say thank you so much, and you take care down there. All right?
I surely will. I can't. I wish I could go to Guitar Wishes right now.
Well, we'll get you up here soon, buddy. You take care.
Okay, thank you, my brother.
Cruising for a bruising.